Hey everybody, I'm Monty, and Channel 5 is reporting that honeybees can actually recognize human faces. Did y'all know that? Yes. See, you running from the bee, it's just trying to say hello. It's seen you earlier, thought you looked nice, it was trying to say hello. You running and swatting at it, trying to kill it. They can recognize human faces. There you go. All right. So, guys, again, if you might have saw my earlier preview, what's he talking about? Where's he going? What do you mean? Don't nobody want you? Who you talking to? I know you ain't talking to me, brother. I don't think I am. But let's get into it very quickly. I wish I could give credit to who I saw this. I saw this. It was either a meme or somebody asked it, and I thought it was very poignant. Told to my single ladies and fellas, single crew. What's up? Listen, I saw this and it really thought it was a really good thing to talk about. The question is, what is your plan B if you don't get married? Yeah. What's your plan B if you do not get married? Do you have a plan B? Have you thought about a plan B? Do you feel like I ain't gonna need no plan B, C, D, E, F? Okay, cool. But what if you don't? You know? But God said I'm gonna get okay, all right, okay. Let me rephrase it then. Or what is your plan B until you get married? And that might be even the more important question. Okay? So let's just get into it real quick. Hold on, look at these. Got a little. All right, so let's go both ways, but let's start with what is your plan B until, because one of the biggest things that I don't like to hear is when a person just is basically like, I just want to be married, and I'm not saying something's wrong with that. A lot, not all, but a lot of single people want to be married. You know what I mean? That's a natural thing within us. So I'm not knocking that. But also, this goes into that, that dreaded quote from the last probably 10 years or whatever. Well, what do you bring to the table, or what are you doing while you're waiting? Okay? That's very important because, there were 5 wise and 5 foolish virgins. 5 that were wise had oil in their lamp and they were ready for the bridegroom. 5 that were not, the 5 that were foolish did not have oil in their lamps. They were all waiting for him, but they were not all ready. Okay? So a lot of people can be waiting, but are you ready while you're waiting? And if you're not working on that plan B or plan, A, 1A, 2A, whatever, you should be already working on that. You should be acquiring some things. And I'm not just talking about natural things, but spiritual things, mental things, things that, I need to acquire some things to make me better from the things that I know I got to work on myself. And we all got stuff we got to work on. And if you think you don't have anything to work on, you really in trouble, because yes, you do. And you should talk to some married people and they will let you know how they came into it. And maybe they thought like you thought, and they will give you a cold dose of reality. You see what I'm saying? So if you're not, while you're in this period, you shouldn't just, work your 9 to 5, go home, sit in the dark and wait to get married. That's not how it works. It's not gonna work like that, But I'm standing on the promise God gave me. He did give you a promise. I just ain't never seen no promise God gave somebody to where they just didn't do nothing and just sat down and did nothing. The promise is what keeps you going in the faith towards that promise. If that made sense what I said. The promise is what keeps you going in the faith toward that promise. And the key thing is, when I said faith, what is faith? Faith is the action, okay? Faith is you moving. Faith means I'm scared, I'm a little frightened, and it's okay to be scared and frightened, but faith says I'm going to keep going. And the thing about faith is, without works is dead. See? So I have my promise, and God said I'm going to have a husband. Or God said I'm going to have a wife. Okay, cool, right. But you have to now apply that to something. You gotta start doing some things. You have to put oil in your lamp. To say God said I'm gonna have somebody and then not have no oil on your lamp and be like, well, God got to put the oil in my lamp too. No, he does. God does not put oil in anybody's lamp. You got to go get the oil for yourself and be ready. That means you can't be getting the oil when it's time, because that's what happened to the five that were not, because by the time they got back, it was too late. You can't be hoping you can share. They asked, give us some of your oil. The five that didn't have it, they said, give us some of the oil y'all got. They said, absolutely not. We ain't got enough to give you and have enough for ourselves. You see what I'm saying? God don't put oil in your lamps. You got to put oil in your lamps. So the question to what are you, what's your plan B, or what are you doing while you're not married is something. What am I doing while I'm not married? I'm doing something. I'm gonna tell you what I'm not doing, nothing. Because doing nothing is going to equal out to nothing. All right? It just don't work like that. Now, and that's for the ones standing on the promise. You know what I'm saying? Even the people that kind of like, I don't know, I just was leaving the gym and I ran into George and we just hit it off and we've been married. Even then, that person was making some sort of preparation. Even if they didn't truly know it, they were putting some kind of, again, it's as simple as what did I just say in that scenario? I was at the gym and you went somewhere, you did something. And you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying you're going to meet your person at the gym. I'm not saying you're going to meet them at the grocery store, but you have to be doing something, even in your waiting period. Because if you're not bettering yourself, if you're not, the things that you do to better yourself might actually lead to it. You have no idea. There's no written rule about do this, and you have your spouse. If there was, the person that wrote it would be rich beyond their wildest dreams. It don't work like that. You have to do something. But let's get back to the original theme. Okay? What are you going to do if you don't? You know? If it doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the promise you got, maybe it was deeper than you thought it was supposed to be. Maybe you were supposed to, apply that into a marriage to God. Or I know we don't want to hear that. Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. I'm married to Jesus. I'm married to Jesus. I know you don't want to hear it. I don't know. But are you just going to, again, be waiting and not doing anything? There is so much in this life that you can feel and do even while you're waiting. Even if it's I haven't got married. And really the key is this. I'm saying, what are you going to do if you don't get married? What are you going to do if you don't get married in the time you think you were supposed to be married? So you set the clock at 26 and a half years old. I'm going to be married at 26 and a half years old. You've been telling everybody that since you was a freshman in high school. By 26 and a half years old, I'm going to be married. So what happens now that 26 and a half years old has come and gone, and it's your 27th birthday, you at Applebee's, everybody's singing to you, and you trying to have a nice, good face, but then you go in the car and you fall out and cry because you're like, I told everybody 26 and a half, and now I'm 27. God has forsaken me. What are you doing then? I'm just going to live a life as a shell, and now, God going to have to prove it to me. And the person that gets me, well, they just going to get what they get. They going to get what they get. Now let's go back to my clickbait. Don't nobody want you like that. No. Get yourself up. Pick yourself up. Okay? A person with a down countenance like that, man, we not trying to, ain't nobody that fine that I see you down in the dumps and, hey, God bless you. Is he? I think so. I just, can I get your number? For what? So you can just do me wrong like everybody else? Okay, I'm going to let you go. Because, see, now you made in your mind that it's not going to happen now. And instead of maybe trusting God that it's not going to happen when you think or the way you think, you're shutting it all down. So your plan B, what's going to happen if I don't get married is I'm going to just quit. And if you quit, then you sure ain't going to get married. If you quit, and I'm saying this for marriage, it's for a lot of things. Whatever dreams you have, you know what I mean? I was supposed to be singing in this, or I'm supposed to be doing that. If you quit, then it won't happen. But see, we get discouraged because of the time frame that we think is supposed to happen. When that doesn't connect, then we're like, man, I guess God don't really rock with me like that. You know how it is. We've seen it. Everybody in here that is talking to me that is single, or even if you're married, You know somebody that got married that you can't figure it out. How? How did they get married? And I'm not. Because they crazy. Or they was in some dirt right before they met the person. Or they was in some dirt while they met the person. And somehow the person still forgave them or whatever. And now they married and happily going on. How? I ain't did none of the stuff they was doing. Everybody said that. Everybody said that. Everybody said that. And if you ain't said it, then you the person they talk about. But that's real. That's real. What you can't do is compare your situation to somebody else's. Everybody's is different. Everybody's is different. And it's something that you really, truly desire and want. It can happen, but you can't keep trying to do the same things over and over again. If you haven't met that person, if you feel like there's no prospects, well, then change something up. What do you do? Are you doing anything different outside of your norm for the last 10 years? No. Well, then it looks like that's not successful for you. Okay. And I know, ladies, I hear you. I just can't be walking up to men. I'm not telling you to walk up to men. I'm not telling you to, be forward and start giving your number out to anybody, But I'm also saying that, listen, you going to work, going to home, and maybe going to your church and maybe every now and then going, to a friend's birthday party. That's all you do. You don't go out nowhere. You don't experience none of good things in this life. You don't, travel, nothing like that. Come on, fam. You got to get out there. You got to, and I'm not saying walk into a room and I'm here to be married. No. But if your circle, there's nobody in there that you rock with, you got to get a bigger circle. Have you tried that? Have you tried Jesus? He's all right. Listen, I'm just telling you, what happens if I don't get married? What is my plan B? We don't necessarily need a plan B if you truly want to be. And I know, well, you ain't yet. I'm not yet, but I'm not giving up on it. I'm not going to be like, it's never going to happen to me. I'm not giving up on it. My plan B is to make sure I'm ready for the plan A. So I'm still on this grind. Okay? The plan B can't be to quit and give up. That's never going to work. Okay? Because you're going to quit and give up, but deep down you know you would still really want it. And years are going to go by, and then you're going to start to resent yourself for giving up. And that's what you're really going to hate. Okay? So what are you going to do? You're going to keep trusting God and keep believing, and maybe try some new things. Do something a little different. Get out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you got to get wild, but hey, go to a classy function. Ladies always say, here's how you weed out the riffraff. Go to a charity, auction or something like that. Something where money has to get spent. Okay, because the riffraff folks don't like to spend money. So that's how you can weed them out. And the people you meet there, you know what I'm saying, go to some place downtown, the Chamber of Commerce, where we're having a silent auction for charity or something like that. Go to something classy like that, okay? Then, because the riffraff folk that maybe you was dealing with before and all that, yeah, they all at the gas station. Right, yeah, they all at Burlington. You go somewhere classy, then, hey, you never know. But that's the show for today, guys. All right? Don't worry about your plan B. Make sure your plan B is working toward your plan A. All right? We got more coming, more shows coming. We back on the roll again, Channel 5. All right? Listen, here's what I want you to do. All right? Be blessed. Stay sharp.